Subscribe now, if you're brave enough to keep watching. The last time anyone saw Emily Carver, she was standing at the entrance of Pine Hollow Trail, a quiet hiking path outside the small town of Marin, Oregon. Locals said it was cursed, but Emily didn't believe in stories like that. She was 26, practical, and loved hiking after work to clear her mind. That evening, the fog rolled in thick and low, swallowing the treetops before she even left the parking lot. Her best friend, Kendra, remembered Emily saying she wanted to catch the lights. It was a local myth, glowing orbs that appeared along the forest trail at dusk, said to guide lost travelers home. But the police report described something far different. Her car was still there the next morning, unlocked, her phone on the passenger seat still recording. The footage begins at 6:47 p.m. Emily's breathing is steady as she walks, crunching gravel underfoot. The sun has dipped below the ridge and the forest is turning blue with twilight. "Okay," she says softly, her voice shaking with excitement. "Let's see if they're real." The camera pans upward, the fog drifts across the branches, thick like smoke. And then, the first light appears. It flickers faintly between two trees, glowing soft and pale like a lantern through mist. Emily laughs under her breath. "Got you." She steps closer. The light drifts deeper into the woods, just beyond her reach. Another appears to the left, then another forming a path. Each pulse of light draws her forward, the forest swallowing her silhouette. Minutes later, her breathing changes faster, uneven. The fog grows denser and every sound feels muted, swallowed whole. Her voice trembles. "Hello? Is someone out here?" Silence. Then a whisper, faint, distant, like her name being said from far away. The video glitches for a moment. When it clears, Emily's flashlight flickers. The lights ahead seem brighter now, but wrong too still, too perfect. She whispers again, "Who's there?" A soft hum fills the air, rhythmic, almost like breathing. Her footsteps quicken. "This isn't funny," she says, voice shaking. "Stop." But the lights only move faster, weaving deeper into the fog, as if leading her somewhere. Her last words before the screen distorts are barely audible. "Wait. There's someone." Static. The recording ends at 7:12 p.m. When the search party arrived the next morning, there were no footprints, no broken branches, nothing. Just her phone and the faint smell of something metallic in the air, like rain and iron. Kendra said she replayed the video dozens of times before noticing one detail the police missed. In the reflection of Emily's phone screen, just before it cuts out, there's a face. But it isn't hers. The search for Emily Carver lasted 9 days. By day 3, it had already drawn national attention. News crews parked along the narrow highway leading to Pine Hollow Trail, filming officers as they combed through fog-choked woods that seemed determined to hide their secrets. Kendra, hollow-eyed and trembling, stood beside the sheriff as they reviewed Emily's footage for what felt like the 100th time. "She was right here," Kendra whispered, pointing to a frame where Emily's shadow stretched long and thin across the trail. The sheriff paused the video. Behind her, just barely visible in the fog, was another shadow. It wasn't moving with hers. When they tried to enhance the image, the screen glitched again, static crawling across the monitor. "It's a compression error," said one of the techs. But the audio waveform told a different story. Underneath Emily's voice, layered so faintly it was almost missed, was another voice. It whispered the same thing she'd heard that night. Her name. Kendra didn't sleep that night. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the lights, those ghostly, soft orbs floating through the trees. But it wasn't until 2 nights later that she began to hear them too. At 2:13 a.m., her phone vibrated on the nightstand. A message from an unknown number. "Follow the lights." She sat up in bed, heart hammering. Her bedroom window overlooked the same woods where Emily had vanished. And through the fog outside, she could see them 3 faint lights glowing between the trees, slowly drifting closer to her property line. The next morning, she drove straight to the ranger station. The lead ranger, a grizzled man named Harris, looked pale when she mentioned the lights. "You need to leave it alone," he said. "This trail has taken people before. Locals know better than to chase those things." "What things?" she demanded. He leaned closer. "We call them the Hollow Wat. My grandfather saw them back in '72. He said they look like lanterns, but they're not." Their eyes. That night, unable to resist, Kendra returned to the trailhead. The fog was so thick it felt alive, shifting, curling, wrapping around her legs as she walked. She left her phone recording on video, flashlight trembling in her hand. "Emily," she called out. "If you can hear me, give me a sign." For a long moment, there was nothing but the faint rustle of leaves, then a flash. One light, then another, flickering deep in the mist. Kendra followed, just like Emily had. Each step made the air colder. The woods seemed to hum. She whispered her friend's name again, but this time something whispered back. The same voice from Emily's footage, soft, breathy, almost childlike. "You shouldn't have come." Kendra froze. The lights ahead had stopped moving. They hung motionless in the air, forming a circle around her. She turned, flashlight shaking, but the beam couldn't pierce the fog anymore. It was like the air itself refused to let her see. The camera shook violently as Kendra screamed and dropped her phone. It hit the ground, lens tilted upward. In the final seconds of footage, the lights drifted closer, their glow pulsing like a heartbeat. Then a figure stepped into view, bare feet, pale skin. A woman, drenched in fog, her face barely visible. But the voice was unmistakable. "Don't follow them." The video ended there. When rescuers found Kendra's phone at the edge of the trail the next morning, the timestamp read 7:12 p.m., the exact same time Emily's footage had stopped. And in the background of Kendra's final frame, if you looked closely enough, you could see it a reflection in her fallen phone screen. The outline of another person standing right behind her, their face turned toward the camera. But the woods had been empty, or so they thought. By the time October's chill sank deep into Marin, Pine Hollow Trail was officially sealed off. The town council cited hazardous conditions, unstable ground, fog density, wildlife. But everyone knew better. People stopped walking their dogs near the woods. Children crossed themselves when they passed the trail sign. And at night, you could still see the faint blue lights shimmering through the trees, pulsing like they were breathing. Sheriff Nolan Dalton didn't believe in ghosts. Not until the night he reviewed Kendra's phone footage for the 5th time and realized something impossible. The figure who appeared at the end wasn't approaching her. It was standing exactly where Emily had vanished. Same position, same tilt of the head. When the sheriff zoomed in on the reflection, his hands began to shake. The eyes looking back weren't human dark pits, bottomless and faintly glowing, as though lit from within. He shut his laptop and drove out there himself. The forest was silent except for the wind dragging through the pines. Fog laced the air, thick and cold. He parked where both women's cars had been found and followed the path by flashlight, boots sinking into damp soil. He'd walked this same trail as a boy, but now every shadow seemed alive, every tree watching. Half a mile in, he found it. A clearing ringed by dead trees. The fog hung unnaturally still here, like it didn't dare move. In the center stood something he hadn't expected, an old wooden post driven into the earth, its surface carved with dozens of names. Some were half-rotted, others freshly etched. He traced one with his glove. Emily Carver. Another, just below it, Kendra Mason. Then he saw a third name already being carved, each letter slow and deliberate. He spun around and froze. A figure was standing a few feet away. A woman. Her clothes were damp, her hair plastered to her face, eyes sunken in black. She opened her mouth to speak, but no sound came out, only fog. Then she raised her hand and pointed behind him. Dalton turned. The lights had appeared again, dozens of them, flickering between the trees like floating lanterns, forming a ring around the clearing. They pulsed in unison, dimming, brightening, dimming again, almost like they were communicating. The sheriff's flashlight began to fade. His radio crackled with static. "Emily," he whispered. "Kendra." The lights grew brighter. Their shapes shifted, not spheres anymore, but faces. Human faces, pale and twisted, mouths open in silent screams. They hovered above the ground, their features flickering like firelight. And as he stepped back, he realized something that made his stomach drop. Each light was paired with a shadow, and the shadows were moving toward him. He stumbled backward, tripping over roots. The fog thickened, swallowing the beam of his flashlight. He ran, or tried to. The air felt heavy, pressing against him with every step. He could hear voices now, hundreds of them, whispering in overlapping tones. "Don't follow. Don't look. Don't stop." When he finally burst back onto the road, his cruiser was still idling, headlights slicing through the mist. He climbed in, slamming the door, gasping for breath. The clock on the dashboard read 7:12 p.m., the same time. Again, he turned the key, engine roaring to life. But in the rearview mirror, he saw them faint blue lights drifting out of the woods, following the car. The radio clicked, and through the static came a familiar voice. "Emily's, you shouldn't have come." Dalton floored the gas, tires screaming as he tore down the highway, the lights chasing him through the trees. But when he reached town, they were gone, vanished, like they'd never been there. He never went back. No one did. Months later, hikers reported seeing strange carvings at the trailhead. The Eye. 3 new names appeared on the post, one freshly marked. N. Dalton. And sometimes around 7:12 p.m., passing drivers swear they see a woman standing by the entrance, drenched in fog, her eyes glowing faint blue. She always points toward the woods as if inviting someone to follow. But no one ever does. Because everyone in Marin knows now. The lights aren't guiding you out. They're leading you in. If this story haunts you, hit subscribe, because the next one will make you question everything you know about fear.